Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to discuss another important topic, that is our gluconeogenesis. So gluco, that is our glucose. Neo means that is our new, and genesis means that is our formation. So it simply means there is a formation of the glucose from new source. New is here, new source. New source means that is carbohydrates. No, that is our non-carbohydrate source. So that is formation of glucose from non-carb substance. Okay, so gluconeogenesis, when you study, it is a very simple process in which what happens, there will be something backward, or we can say reversal glycolysis. There will be the backward or the reversal glycolysis, but there is some exceptions. One, second, one, sorry, 1, 3, and 10. So these steps are irreversible step of the glycolysis. These are what? Irreversible steps of glycolysis. These are irreversible step of the glycolysis. So these steps, they will never undergo the reversible process. So these are the exceptions that you will study later. So now the what is the formation? So we studied that is our what the site of the gluconeogenesis, that is our liver. 90 to 95% gluconeogenesis that occurs in the liver, and less than 5% it occurs in the kidney, and very less amount it's occur in the intestine also. Okay, but take it as exception. Then liver, kidney, and intestine. So most probably there will be the liver and the kidney only. So most the gluconeogenesis reaction occur only in the liver. The most, if and then there will be the kidney, and very least amount it occurs in the intestine. In the liver and the kidney, it occurs in the cytoplasm and mitochondria. So which organelle are involved? That is our cytoplasm and the mitochondria. Also remember that smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they also have little role in gluconeogenesis. Okay, so remember which organelle, if they will ask, then cytoplasm and the mitochondria, and which organ will be there. So that is our liver, kidney, and the intestine. Okay, so that is our site. Now there is a two condition. One, there will be the early fasting condition, and there is a fasting condition. So when the gluconeogenesis will occur, so remember the early fasting, we studied that there is a glycogenolysis. So glycogenolysis, early fasting means 16 to 18 hours, and after that fasting condition will start. So for 18 to 48 hours fasting condition will be there. So when the fasting, so when the glycogen will be finished, or glycogen will finish, so it will again the glucose depletion. So after that gluconeogenesis will start. After that gluconeogenesis will start. Okay, so the next question, what are the substrates that used for the gluconeogenesis? So that is, what are the substrates? So first, that is our lactate, or we can call lactic acid. Then the next one is our amino acids. All amino acids except leucine and lysine. So remember that leucine and lysine, they are the ketogenic amino acids that never undergo what? They never undergo gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis. Okay, that is GNG, gluconeogenesis. Then the next one is our propionyl coenzyme. That is propionyl coenzyme. And one more is there, that is glycerol. So lactate, amino acid, propionyl coenzyme, and the glycerol. So they all are the substrates that used for the gluconeogenesis, and they what they will make, they are the non-carb substance, and they will make what? Glucose. So all these substance or the substrate, they will make the glucose with the help of, or they will enter into the glycolysis, and when they will enter into the glycolysis, so the reverse glycolysis will occur, and with the help of that, again the backward glucose will be formed. So let's see how they will form. So lactate or lactic acid. So lactic acid, how they will form? It forms in case of anaerobic conditions. In anaerobic condition, what forms? That is our lactic acid. So if I will talk about the RBC, so RBC we know that is they don't have mitochondria. They don't have mitochondria. So what process will occur in there? Only the anaerobic process. So only the anaerobic process only. So in the anaerobic process, there will be glycolysis will be there. There will be the glycolysis will be there. So what happen in the case of the glycolysis? There will be the glucose will convert into the pyruvate, and in case of there is only anaerobic condition, so this pyruvate will convert into the lactic acid. This pyruvate will convert into the lactic acid. Now this lactic acid will release into the blood, and into the blood they will again go to the liver. From the blood they will go to the liver, and this lactic acid will in the liver it will convert it again into the glucose, and this cycle is known as Cori's cycle. We call it Cori's cycle. So Cori's cycle, we can say that is a lactate glucose cycle that used for the gluconeogenesis. So there is a Cori's cycle that is what is the Cori's cycle? The lactate that will form in case of anaerobic condition by the RBC, or also we can say the skeletal muscles during the physical exercise. So during the physical exercise there will be the low oxygen, so it will also undergo the anaerobic pathway. Okay, so there will again lactic acid formation, and all this cycle will called Cori's cycle. So it means the lactic acid they will enter into the directly go to the blood, and from the blood they will go to the liver, and the liver again the gluconeogenesis will occur from the lactic acid. The next substrate is our amino acid. So let's take an example of alanine, because alanine is the most common that undergo the gluconeogenesis. So what happen in case of alanine? So again there will be glucose will convert into the pyruvate, that is again what our glycolysis. So this pyruvate will convert into the alanine with the help of transamination. So there is again the enzyme that is used with the transamination will be there. So with the help of transaminase enzyme, transamination will be there. So this pyruvate will convert into the what? Alanine. Now this alanine will go again to the liver. They will go into the liver, and the liver there will be, if I say this is the liver, so in the liver the alanine will convert into the pyruvic acid, or with the help of transaminase enzyme, again there will be the transamination will occur. So again the transaminase enzyme, and again the pyruvic acid will enter into the reverse glycolysis, and they will form what? Glucose. So now this glucose again they will undergo the glycolysis pathway, and they will make the pyruvate. Then again the alanine pyruvate, from the pyruvate alanine will form, and the alanine it will go undergo the go to the liver, and the liver there will be the transamination, and due to the transamination there after the transamination the reverse glycolysis will occur, and we call this cycle is the chill cycle. Remember this like alanine act as substance in case of the starvation. So the person who is undergoing the starvation, so the alanine will break down, and it will act as a glucose source, or it will act as an ATP source for the or energy source. We can call it glucose. So next is our glycerol. Okay, so glycerol there will be enzyme. If I will say there is a kinase, so what happens if I adding the kinase enzyme? As I already told, if I'm adding the kinase, it means kinase it will phosphorylate or it will dephosphorylate. So there will be glycerol 3-phosphate will form, G3P, glycerol 3-phosphate. So that is again the intermediate form of what? Glycolysis. And with the help of glycerol 3-phosphate, it will convert into the DHAP. It will convert into the DHAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate. With the help of enzyme G3P dehydrogenase. With the help of enzyme G3DP hydrogenase, and we know that DHAP it is what? It is a intermediate of glycolysis. So there again the reverse glycolysis will occur, and then DHAP will convert into the glucose. Okay, so this is again our third substance, the glycerol, that will convert into the glucose, and it acts as a source for the glucose. The next one is our propanol coenzyme. So that's not so important. So I'm writing the equation. So here is what propanol coenzyme. You can see here the propanol coenzyme. So propanol coenzyme, it is what? It is a part of our odd chain fatty acids. Part of odd chain fatty acids. So here the propanol coenzyme, it is what? It is 3 carbon compounds. So that carboxylase. So whenever you see the carboxylase, remember the vitamin B7 biotin. It is a cofactor for or coenzyme for what? Carboxylase. And also there will be the ATP. It will act as coenzymes. So there is pyruvate carboxylase. So carboxylation is a reaction is occurring. So it will convert into the 4-carbon. So that's the important enzyme, that is the irreversible enzymes used for the irreversible glycolysis steps like step 1, step 3 and step 10 of the glycolysis. So that is our key steps, or we can say key enzymes for the gluconeogenesis, gluconeogenesis, key enzymes for the, or we can say key steps for the gluconeogenesis. So these are the irreversible steps of glycolysis. So 1, 3rd and 10. So what is the first step? The glucose will convert into the glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate with the help of enzyme hexokinase. So that is the first step of the glycolysis. Now this glucose 6-phosphate, how it will, it is not a reversible process. It cannot be converted directly into the glucose 6-phosphate into the glucose. So we need to convert into glucose 6-phosphate into the glucose. Okay, so that is why our enzyme, we call it glucose 6-phosphatase. We call it glucose 6-phosphatase. So this with the help of glucose 6-phosphatase, so that glucose 6-phosphate will convert into the glucose. So this is the first, we can call the key enzyme for the gluconeogenesis. So the third step is what? Fructose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6-phosphate. So we enzyme which here is PFK1. Again, that is an irreversible step. So we need to convert the fructose 1,6-phosphate to our again to fructose 6-phosphate. So it can go to the reverse glycolysis. So again, the enzyme which here is what? Fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. Fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. So again, the enzyme which here is fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. Then the next step is what? Step 10. So in the 10th step, PEP, phosphoryl pyruvate, will convert into the pyruvate with the help of pyruvate kinase. Now this pyruvate we need to convert it into the, so this pyruvate we need to convert again into the reverse glycolysis process, and PEP to pyruvate, it is irreversible. But pyruvate to glucose formation, it is not a single step reactions, it will be the multi-step. So first the pyruvate will convert into the oxaloacetate. And with the help of enzyme, we call it pyruvate carboxylase. So that is the important reaction, pyruvate carboxylase. And again, the carboxylase here, so what it will require? It requires the biotin. Again, it will require the ATP. So biotin and the ATP. Okay, so this pyruvate will need to convert into oxaloacetate. Again, this pyruvate to oxaloacetate reaction, it occurs in the mitochondria. It not occurs in the cytoplasm, it occurs in the mitochondria. So we need to convert the oxaloacetate, and we need to take the oxaloacetate from the mitochondria, and we need to give it to the cytoplasm. So that further reaction of the, because glycolysis will occur only in the cytoplasm. So let's see this process. So here is our reversible glycolysis. So that is pyruvate acid that will convert to the oxaloacetic acid. So this reaction it will occur in the cytoplasm. So this oxaloacetic acid will form in the, it will form in the mitochondria. It will form in the mitochondria. And from the mitochondria, they will convert to the malate. And this with the help of the malate aspartate. With the help of malate aspartate settle in the cell, it will convert again. It will go to the cytoplasm. And from the cytoplasm, it will enter into the, with the help of PEP carboxylase, it will enter into the reversible glycolysis. And then there is a 2 to 3 phosphoglycerate by the mutage. Position means mutage. Then from the mutage, it will convert 1,3-BPG, and after that, reversible glycolysis will be there, and that will make one glucose. So that is again, that is our reversible glycolysis. So all this that is nothing, it's all complete reversible glycolysis. And remember, this is it is the most important, and we can say that it is the third key enzyme that was for in gluconeogenesis. Alright, so the next is also that we will discuss previously that acetyl CoA is a substrate for gluconeogenesis. So it acts as an abstract activator. Pyruvate carboxylase. Alright,
step differentiate in well-fed state, post-ovulation, well-fed state, and the fasting conditions. So in the fasting conditions, gluconeogenesis will be activated. Gluconeogenesis will be activated, and if it is not the well-fed states, glycolysis will be activated. So this is what opposite of each other, glycolysis and gluconeogenesis. Now the last thing is complicated, so that is on gluconeogenesis. So let's do a quick recap. So when you look at the sections, lactic acid, amylation, cholesterol, propionic contaminant, and the site is liver, and kidney, PC cytoplasm, mitochondria, and the small endoplasmic reticulum. Remember that huge endoplasmic reticulum, glucose 6 phosphatase, it's present in the small endoplasmic reticulum, also involved in gluconeogenesis, and also important point is 6 ATP cells from the energy to lactic into glucose. What is the key enzymes in the glucose 6 phosphatase, 50 glyphosate, and the pyruvate carboxylase, and also which are enzymes for irreversible glycolysis